Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Marco Jimenez, this is Jim Emerson. And I had to ask you, are we calling it emo tennis or emo tennis? Because I've been calling it emo this whole time.
Emo was the term that the players would call me Coach Emo, and it was so inviting. And I hadn't heard in so many years, so it's just nice to even talk about it. So.
Emo, okay, my apologies. So Emo Tennis, welcome back. We're here in Fallbrook, California, doing some reaction videos and some lessons. Jim's going to be kind of giving us some tips today. We're focusing this episode on some technical skills. Jim's gonna give us an idea of some really cool volley techniques that he's been training some of his students on lately, and we'll pass that on to you later. In the meantime, we're gonna start a match that Jim and I just played against, it was Troy and Davis on the home court here in Fallbrook. And yeah, it was a good match. These guys are very skilled players, and it should be a fun one to watch. So, oops.
Technical difficulty, but we're okay.
Here we go. So yeah, is there anything else you wanted to add before we jump into the video, or?
Well, no, I'm excited. These, to me, are some of our better players in the area, and we had our hands full, for sure. I felt like I was good to the last 20 minutes. My energy really dropped, so I was a little disappointed. But looking at the match, it does look like everybody had fun. It looks like everybody showed some athleticism and maybe even some greatness. So it's always great to have the guys over and to have that kind of energy that we create. And a lot of it's because the attitudes that we bring to the court. So we got some first-class guys here tonight.
There we go. All right, cool. And if everything's working properly, you'll be seeing Jim's court in the background here. We got our green screen studio up and running in my home studio garage. So I'm gonna go ahead and start the match with Troy and Davis in 3, 2, 1. So
we're back.
Is that you serving or me?
That's you.
Ooh, 116, wow.
See, you really hurt people at times when you serve.
I don't know if that's an accurate.
Wow, look at that winner down the lane.
Yeah, I had to try it.
Right out of the chute, you're in good vibration, and it just keeps going.
Yeah, I don't normally try down the line that soon in a match.
I hate the way I went after that ball because I wasn't sure and I didn't attack it with my feet. And it's so important to get the feet engaged early. Like there, I stepped into it and moved forward, and a lot of times I don't. I just sit down and react. These guys are too good. You can't do that. That was a nice one you made. Just a good touch. I couldn't get my feet going there. I couldn't bend my knees either. Wow. But that's good for me to see because I know what I have to do to improve.
Yeah, that's why we're watching these videos, which is fun to be able to do this. You can see if your feet are moving or not. Oh wow, nice shot.
Yeah, beautiful.
Aced. So techniques-wise, moving your feet and balance, and that's kind of where you're going right now, right?
Well, I often think of like a shortstop. They're so good at getting down to the level of the ball and staying down and throwing the ball all down. And so you think about, a lot of our balls are hit really hard and they're very low, and you've got to get down, and you think you're down, at least I do, and a lot of times I'm not down far enough, and so something like this, watching it can really improve the idea that I'm not down, my legs aren't loaded, I'm not pushing off, and wow. Davis just had an unbelievable volley. I thought you hit a winner.
He's got good hands, yeah.
He really does.
Yeah, both these guys are...
Good touch, yeah.
They're 4-5 level, I think. Troy just got bumped up, right? So.
Exactly, but he was a 4-5, I believe, before as well, and then, everybody likes to go back down. It could be... life's a little easier.
Yeah, but it's great to have progression in your skill set, and then bring these guys over because it obviously makes us better players as well. So that's exciting and encouraging because we actually played very well against them. Don't want to spoil the end, but yeah, they did a great job this night.
Well, you can start to see already that we're starting to have some better rallies as we get into a better vibe. But they came out strong with the vibe, and I think it was very close the first set as far as the stats. And so there was nothing to be ashamed of or feel like you wasted their time. I mean, I've seen that happen too, where you go, hey, I overdid it, or I'm a little sick, or I'm distracted, I've got problems going on at the house, and so it changes the whole energy on the court. But you can see everybody's like enjoying it. And then, I like the way he picked it up off the tape. So that meant that he wasn't locked in, he's still open for change. A lot of times we get this idea that that's the shot I'm going to hit, and then at the last moment you don't track it, or the ball takes a funny bounce and then you don't respond to it. And I think you realize you could have. Oh, did you hit amazing overhead? That was an angle.
I had a few of those practice shots on Saturday. The Saturday before this match.
That was a great pick up. He was getting down, you got to get touch.
That was a good overhead right there.
He got that one all the way.
That was awkward, off center, running backwards, and he blasted it. That's a tough shot.
I like the way you held it to the last second and cut the angle. You could have went anywhere.
Yeah, I think you taught me that one. Just to hold it, give it a little time. See where they're gonna go, where they think you're gonna go.
Yeah, I like to think a lot of times we have to get things going a little bit before we start to feel the higher vibration, and then we start opening up to better shots, better ideas, better execution. I think they're picking on me. What do you think?
They chose me and made the right choice that time.
Well, I don't think you are the right choice, because look at your vibration there, but I think they hit too many too, and you start to go, well, a little boring. But
yeah, I guess I lost interest in the game.
That's the whole point, is if you're not playing, how many times have you played in, let's say, a social aspect or something like that, and the other team was so bad, it was like, didn't matter what you did, they weren't going to be able to keep going, and that caused you to just check out. And I found that the amusing part of something, if that ever happens to you guys out there, is I try to get the other team or the other players in vibration and spoon feed them shots that you know they can't miss. And then when you see them start to calm down, start feeling better, then you don't have to keep doing that, but but it really helps the contest that everybody can feel a better vibe or a better experience.
Yeah, that's a pretty diplomatic and love of the game way to put it, for sure. I know that I often will find myself battling that concept of wanting your opponent to be enjoying the match. I battle that with the fact that I want to win the match, and but yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. This was a good match. The match.
Ooh, look at that rally. Still going.
In the next episode.
And then I set him up. See, there we were talking about
it's a good way.
Sure.
It's a good way to have them come back, I guess, for more, because they get those really big winners and they go, wow, let's do that again.
I like the way you said that. It leaves a good taste in their mouth, and they want to come back and enjoy it again. It's challenging. It's exciting.
Sure.
And we're kind of just checking out from the world. We decided we were playing like in school recess, and we didn't want the bell to ring, so we didn't even want the points to end. And that's, not worrying or fretting or worrying about the next test or going back to your job. This is just a bunch of guys playing, fooling around.
Yeah.
I think we're very productive and having fun, but everybody looks at it, well, I got to win, and if they don't, they sometimes feel defeated. I feel a little defeated when I don't play well, but I don't really think I need to win anymore. I think it's lost its sting, Haven't you won enough? Like when you really drive your hips, you get low and you drive your hips through like that. And it's a little intimidating if you see it coming too.
Yeah, I like to wind up.
I like to wind up for my show.
Especially my backhand. I was teasing Davis about serving to my backhand because I had him dialed on this one. Anytime he would serve to my backhand, I was able to really crank it back, and then he started trying to serve to my forehand, and I missed a few, but eventually got it figured out. He has a nice big kick serve, and
Yeah.
there's something about a big kick that allows me to open up my top spin and really rip it back.
Well, I've watched you, and you're up, and your energy's coming hard forward, and you just don't even really swing that hard. You lean into it, and I feel like you catch all of it.
It's a good technique.
That's right.
Move the feet, lean into it. Yeah.
I could really feel my legs lagging there where I'm not hustling. I'm doing minimal, and you can't do minimal. That one you can see it came slower, and you didn't judge it. Otherwise, you would have skipped forward, and then they use that energy and change your placement of the touch.
Yeah. This is that time of the night too, with twilight. Where
There's that one I ran through, and I would have held my ground a little bit better. I could have had that.
Okay.
That's me being anxious, so I want to point that out.
That'll be a good topic once we're done watching the game.
Nice inside out. You see it get around.
Yeah.
He's got great footwork.
Yeah.
Always real stable on his foundation. I thought you got that one. That was a great looking shot. That was a great return. He couldn't catch up with it. I was caught in no man's land on that last one. I either had to get in or get back, but you saw how hard it was coming.
Yeah, no man's land is not a place you want to be. For those of you that are new to the sport, it's that spot between just past the service line and the baseline there. If you're standing there, that's usually where balls want to bounce, and that's not the ideal situation to be returning a ball with.
Wow, another great shot you hit down the line.
Cool. That was another ace.
Another ace.
Aces are fun.
Well, you can relax.
Yeah, one of the...
That was a great lob. Look at what you drove him all the way back.
They're on the defensive now. Yeah, good point.
So we're catching a better vibe right there.
Yeah, this is the first game of the second set here, and they won 7-5. I think I had maybe 3 or 4 enforced errors that ended up giving them that set.
Oh, I don't think so. But you could be critical if you want. You made so many great shots, and I'll say so many winners, that you're probably going to hit a few more mistakes or out of vibration shots. I always try to go down the middle of the road, so I'm not making great shots, I'm just not making a lot of errors.
Yeah.
So, I feel that we work well together, because when you're in high vibe, you're going to get us some quick, fast points, and then I'm going to get a few balls I shouldn't be getting. I think, of course, not that time. But I enjoy that part of the game, being consistent, because maybe I always tried to hit winners when I was younger, like it just feels so good, and yet I didn't realize I was giving away too much. Yeah, I set him up right there.
I gotta work on my backhand overhead. I used to have a really wicked kick I could really angle it so that the ball went down and bounced over their heads.
So you had
with
a
my
sharp wrist snap and you sent it down?
Yeah, what's it called? Embouchure? Is that the word?
I don't know, I haven't heard of that.
I've heard a word that sounds like that has something to do with
Armature, yeah, well.
the way the angle or something that you use your wrist to hit the ball when you're serving, and then like where you hit an overhead and it goes straight down and bounces over their head, basically. I can't remember the word, but whatever.
But it is that angle of snap
Yeah.
that's forcing it down severely.
Yeah, I think Mr. Federer had that. He had a really good backhand overhead. Okay, so now we're starting to kind of warm up again in the second set. There you go, right down the middle.
You see, I got my feet kind of vibrating before I actually executed, and I knew that's part of where I need to be at. Where I get so excited about the swinging part that my feet are really the foundation, or the tripod, or the base, and you've got to establish that in order to have any drive through the legs and hips. Nice serve.
Yeah, he's got a really interesting toss too.
Yeah.
Keeps it kind of close to the chest.
He goes right over the top, and he's straight lines. I mean, he follows. He doesn't deviate. His path is so straight. His toss is so dialed in.
Mm-hmm.
And then he'll get it to what? 3 feet inside the line. It looks like he's almost inside the line before he hits it.
Mm-hmm. Here's my 111 slice.
Wow, that's quite an angle. Oh, and you got it, bro! That was the best shot of the match.
That's right.
We should replay that one.
Yeah.
You were so quick.
Yeah, that was fun. Sometimes those angles are the only way to win a point with these guys because they're getting everything back otherwise. A nice little drop, set him up. I should have gone over his head there.
We both were trying it that one. That's a great serve. I must have called that. Now that is one of the shots I want, where you can come forward like you did and stay down and not overhit. All you had to do is get it up the middle, and it was a great shot. There's that no man's land. And see, your feet were not thinking, they were swinging, right? And the guy hits it right back to you. It's, yeah, that was a great serve.
Yeah, so one of the things, if we're going to talk about technical skills that I have been benefiting from, was you reminded me a couple months ago of the slow, slow, fast, or slow, fast, slow, or fast, slow, slow, or whatever. And it was a thing I say in my head now before I serve. Not every time. I do it when I'm warming up, more or less. So because now it's becoming more subconscious. But it's 3 phases. So it's, the toss, bringing the racket up, and then following through and hitting, right? So slow, slow, fast is how I've been doing it lately, and that was something that changed my.
Yeah, I call that
serve.
tempo of your natural gait or your natural flow. When you watch the pitchers, how they have a very deliberate wind up, and then they come through, and so it's almost like they're building up the energy slowly, and then they launch it. And I think that's something you do really well.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but that was a pretty important technique that I think a lot of people can benefit from. My rhythm was slow, slow, fast, but slow, fast, slow.
Here's the way I ask the students to do it, and let them evaluate their own thoughts. I say, can you do slow, slow, slow? So here they are, slow, 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 and it's not going to work, but they do it. And then I'll ask them to do slow, slow, fast. They'll do that. Then I'll say slow, fast, fast. And then I'll say fast, fast, fast. So they'll narrow it down to 2. And it's usually slow, slow, fast, or slow, fast, fast. The 2. So then you don't want them not to say, hey, this is what you should do. You keep flirting with those 2 and see which one blends better. Because everybody's tempo doesn't have to be the same. But once you get them into a state of, oh, that feels right for me, then the next thing you know is they're buying into it and they're promoting themselves and they are encouraging themselves to do it. And the next thing you know, they build up confidence. And then, you know, another one that I try to help with the beginners, and I'm not saying any of you guys are beginners, but is if you follow through towards your target, you know, it's not forever, but it's just showing the target area with your strings longer promotes the ball going in that direction. And once they see that, then they start following through straighter. And they say, well, how come it's still crooked? And then they realize their feet are crooked and they gotta get their feet in position to follow through straighter. So they can problem solve on their own and actually help themselves.
Okay.
By not telling them what to do, asking them to try different things that work for them. So I love getting people to actually teach themselves, like an awakening, like, hey, if you do this, what do you think will happen? And so they're real open. I call it the laboratory. That is our laboratory, and we're out there experimenting. And the idea is to continue to grow in the game and find new parts of you that you haven't established or been able to use. And I guarantee you in the next 20 years, Marco, you're gonna find that you're really gonna fine tune your instrument. You're gonna start to be able to feather or feel shots because you build a network of, well, this feels good and I'm welcoming feel good. And hit the ball between your legs or hit the ball behind your back with no look can be really fun, especially as you get better at it. So to me, I can hit trick shots, I just can't move, but I sure enjoy the idea that I could create something kind of mystical or different, or people are overwhelmed, like how could you think or do something that fast? It's the body intelligence that's doing it, and the more you're out there on the court, the more you're gonna acquire that knowledge or that feel. And that's why I'm always trying to get people to realize they're more than they think they are. But sometimes we get defeated or we don't hang around long enough. But yeah.
Okay, cool. For maybe our last little technical skill you could mention was the volleying and then doing the...
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit. If you notice in the match, guys, there was times when, I don't know if all of us did it, but we would be hitting a high vibration point and then all of a sudden we get a hard one and we'd make it, and then all of a sudden we get an easy one and then we kind of get anxious or get out of vibration and tilt, and then the racket face tilts a little bit and it hits the top of the tape. I know I did it in the match once or twice, and I believe you did as well. And those are shots that you say were routine, and I made the hard shots. What happened to me on that shot? And the whole idea is you were viewing it, and then I call it snapshots, and the ball all of a sudden slows down and you don't see it, and then you're still trying to make the shot, you start leaning, and the next thing you know, you're tilting the racket face. So Marco and I were talking about a guidance system that could, really not all the time, but in instances where it's critical and you do not want to make a mistake, is to draw the non-dominant hand up on the forearm and hold that thing steady so it can't launch out there, and then you can hold it true to parallel with the net back here. And it may not be a winner, but you will not miss it because there's nothing that can go wrong. Now, if you're not parallel, you're tilting it up or down, all bets are off. But I'm telling you that give that a try.
There you go.
And see if you can isolate that and have that feel-good moment. I know the next time we film, we're gonna go demonstrate that, and then we can go ahead and view it. And so both of us are gonna showcase that next time you see our video. So thank you.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that on that episode when we watch it on here. So cool. Well, thanks for watching, guys, and hopefully we can see you on the court here in Fallbrook or anywhere in San Diego County. We're always playing everywhere, looking for good partners. We're hoping this channel kind of starts gaining more momentum as we continue to do these episodes and kind of learn along the way. Thank you so much for watching, and I guess we'll see you on the next one.
Take care, guys. Thanks.